they just keep on rolling as we welcome you here to Phillies Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Amy Fiddle and Ben Davis, 5th in a row. As we were talking about the magic number down to just how many? 4. For those fans out there, you got to know what that reference is. But and it could go down to 3. We'll keep you updated on that. But really, you needed a great outing from Walker Buehler. And I think that you got a good enough outing. I don't know if I would call it great, but the thing is, here's a guy that, was released with a 5.45 ERA from the Red Sox. He only had, one spot inning or two down with Lehigh Valley, and he comes up and he really, I thought, pitched pretty well.
Yeah, 5 innings pitched, 90 pitches, 59 of which were strikes. He used all his pitches tonight. He really couldn't sit on any one particular pitch. He put his ball club in the best position to win, and it was nice to see the Phillies get some runs early on this ball game, let him front run a little bit, and just basically go out there and pitch his game. But I liked what I saw. He had a good ride on the 4-seamer. The 2-seamer was late, had late life to it. Saw some good changeups out of Walker Buehler tonight. If I'm going up there, that's pretty much the last pitch I'm looking for off Walker Buehler. But he threw some good changeups to some lefties. I liked his curveball. He was able to throw the get-me-over curveball and also the put-away, some sliders, some cutters. He had a mixed assortment tonight, and he was able to throw them all for strikes. So it was a nice first outing. I think definitely something you can take a lot of positives away for tonight for Walker Buehler.
We're going to go with a 6-man rotation going forward, but Ben, you mentioned it. They got a lot of offense for him, and that always helps a pitcher. It's the best friend is anything that they managed to plate across, and they plated a lot of runs in this one. Obviously the final was 8, but they got him early and often. You can see the only gentleman, the starter that did not get hit was Emendo Sosa, who ended up leaving the game. You heard John Kruk allude to that. We're going to hear from Rob Thomson, I'm sure, on Sosa coming up. But everybody, that's a lot of crooked numbers.
That's a lot of crooked numbers. How about spreading the wealth? 6 different guys had an RBI or multiple RBIs in this ballgame. 6 different guys.
Incredible.
You just don't ever see that. And again, the bottom of the lineup, getting it done. Turn it over to the top. Marchand has done an outstanding job this year. Yes, defensively, that's his main objective, go out there and handle pitching staff. But he's been better with the bat recently, and it is not easy to do, considering he only plays once every 10 to 12 days or so. But he's been outstanding for them. It seems like they had a great game plan. He and Buehler tonight, they executed. But this lineup, I mean, look at the top. Bader's continued to be in a tree. This guy's on fire. He came here hitting 258. 258 in the 36 games here. He's lifted that average to 284.
That's incredible.
Remarkable.
When you're thinking about what he's been able to do and how he generates a lot more offense.
But it's just this whole approach right now, Amy. These guys, they're great situationally. They're way better with 2 strikes. They're using the entire field. And yes, hitting is contagious. Probably the oldest cliche in baseball. But it really does. You see one guy doing something and say, maybe I could try that my next at bat. Maybe I will let pitches get deeper in the strike zone. Maybe I'll stay back with my hands a little bit more. I don't care if I get beat, but if I can still make my hands go forward, make the bat head go forward, I got a fighting chance. And that's what I'm seeing out of the guys. And then when the pitcher's making a mistake, yes, they're going up top. They're hitting the home runs. They're driving the baseball. The extra base hits are there. But it's this approach right now that I'm loving so much, Amy. And I think they're seeing the rewards from it, and they're sticking with it. This has been a trend now for a couple weeks now, and hopefully this stays because it's working.
Yeah, it's that point. 12-3 since they were swept by the Mets. So that is a good trend. Tonight, 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Also a very good trend. Let's check in now with Rob Thomson.
Well, he gave us exactly what we needed, 50-50 mix on his fastball and his off-speed pitches, 65% strikes, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. It was really good, a lot of carry to his fastball. Not a whole lot of hard contact, so it was good to see. Yeah, he's got some right groin tightness. He'll be day-to-day. We'll check him out tomorrow. I just saw him favored a little bit while he was on defense, and so I checked him out, and he said, it was a little sore. So precautionary for now. We got him out of there.
Has he been dealing with that a little bit more?
Just a little bit, but I just saw a little bit more. He's grinding through it. I just saw a little bit more of the kind of hobble.
Who's the other? Is Wilson your backup? Backup to the backup?
Yeah, you got Wilson and Walton, so we got guys who can play there.
But Buehler also had 11 swings and misses.
Yeah.
The most he's had in a couple months. Do you see a little more swing and miss from him tonight?
Yeah, it was encouraging. Really was. To to give us 5 innings and 90 pitches. You know, it's probably a little bit more than I wanted to give him, but wanted to get him through the 5th if we could and get him a win. So, yeah, really good.
Big swing by Bryce there to give you the lead early.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of like it when he goes the other way like that?
Yeah, that's kind of his sweet spot. You know, his swings, his timing and his swing is in good shape if he's hitting balls like that to left center field. So, but good offensive night. You know, Bader, Harper, Kemp had a good night. Kepler was on 4 times. Stott, Marchand had a great night. Yeah, so all in all, a lot of good offense.
What else can you say about Kepler and his turnaround? Like you said, 4 times on base tonight, just really impressive.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of settled in, you know. He's gotten over the trying to impress everybody, the new organization and the new, you know, teammates, and that can spiral for a while, and now he's coming out of it, and he's just relaxed and just going out and playing baseball.
This is the 4th straight game with more than 11 hits. What are you guys seeing that's allowing that offense to flourish like that?
You know, I think we're doing a good job at working counts, staying in the strike zone, using the entire field. When you do that, that's the recipe for success offensively, and I think we're doing that right now.
They are doing that right now. And also, what's happening right now is the magic number is at 3. That's because the Mets lost to the Rangers and the Phillies win. That's right, baby. It can happen on Sunday.
I don't care who they're playing. I know the Royals are just 500,
right,
but they're putting together some really good at-bats. They're playing very good defense. They're running the bases extremely well. They're playing defense. They're hitting the cutoff man. Mm-hmm. They're doing everything right currently, and I think they're enjoying the way they're playing it, and they continue to do it because, you know, I always talk about you play the game of baseball because it's fun and because you're good at it. And right now, the Phillies are really, really good at it.
And that makes it a lot of fun. Let's hear from Bryce Harper now.
First, you get on a swing like that, drive it 400 feet, opposite way.
Yeah, it felt good. I thought the lineup, you know, swung it well tonight. Obviously, Walker went out there and ended his job, and you know, started us out good and put some runs on the board there, and you know, good to be able to win that game.
How do you think you guys have been able to step on the pedal here? Middle of this month, you lost left side of your infield, and you guys, as a lineup, this week has been pretty productive.
Yeah, guys been stepping up. You know, next guy up mentality kind of thing. I think obviously we got a lot of guys that have a lot of confidence in their ability, and you know, I think the lower half of our lineup has been great for us. Our starting pitching has been obviously lights out, and you know, pitching wins championships, man. It's obviously contagious when one guy goes out there and does his job, and another guy does the same thing, and just really fun to watch.
Along those lines, the addition of Walker, Buehler, beat to that, whether it's like you did tonight or at least giving those guys a little bit of a break.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, knowing that he was going to come in here and do the job, and you know, Dombrowski going and getting him. You know, he fits right in, fits into that mold of being a Philadelphia baseball player, and you know, just a lot of fun to, you know, be around him. Somebody that's won in his career, obviously pitched in big situation, big moments as well, deep into the postseason. So getting a guy like that in our clubhouse is huge for us, and obviously went out there and did a great job tonight.
How do you feel? Numbers down to 3, would it mean something extra to be able to clinch here as opposed to on the road?
Is that 3 for the division, or is that just? It is. Yeah, I mean, obviously, anytime you're able to clinch at home, it's huge, especially in front of our fans and best fans in baseball. Man, they've been here all year for us, and you know, it's a lot of fun playing here. Obviously, we play great at home, and it'd be great to be able to do it here.
How do you feel, kind of, with your, you know, approach at the plate overall? When we see you go the other way like that, you're usually pretty locked in. I mean, do you kind of feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm really upset about the last at bat. Obviously, can't miss pitches over the plate, so just got to keep swinging, keep you know, taking good at bats, and you know, getting the pitches over the plate that I can handle, and you know, take the ones away from it.
So Bryce Harper talking about they'd love to clinch this in front of their fans because that would be ecstatic, but the important thing is they are taking care of business, and he is too. He had home run number 362 of his career, past Joe DiMaggio for 89th all-time on the list, and that means remarkable. And you mentioned he missed a good chunk of the season, and the fact that he's come back on such a tear since the All-Star break and now passing one of the all-time greats.
It shows that he's healthy. I think if I were to pass the Yankee Clipper, number 5, Joe DiMaggio,
I might just hang it up after that.
I might be mixing a couple more smiles. I mean, you should enjoy that moment. That is something, to say that you surpassed one of the greatest to ever play the game. The future Hall of Famer surpassing a Hall of Famer is pretty darn cool. And be number 89th all time on that list is remarkable. So it's really nothing this guy can't do. And I just like the fact that he's putting it together now, getting really, really hot as we go into the playoffs.
Yeah, September is certainly, you're seeing a very, very positive trend for the Phillies, and that's big. Well, the Phillies get the win. As we mentioned, their magic number is down to 3 because they won 8-2 and the Mets lost 8-3. 8 apparently is a very popular number if you're interested in good things like winning, but 3 is an even better number. Walker Buehler, I mentioned it to you earlier, but this is a guy, and you heard from Rob Thomson, you needed to see something positive from him as we check out his numbers. The 5 innings pitched, nothing like electric, but you mentioned in the pregame show he had his first 2 pitches that he goes to usually where people were batting over 300 against them, but you like the way they switched up his arsenal.
Yeah, he still used a lot of 4-seamers tonight, but the cutter didn't use a whole lot of, but threw a 4-seamer, slider, 2-seamer, curveball, cutter, change, sweeper. These guys just couldn't sit on anything, and I like the fact that he was working ahead, he was getting ahead, staying ahead, and that's really been his thing, getting ahead but not able to put guys away.
Yeah.
Well, he was able to do that tonight, 90 pitches, 59 of which were strikes, just the 1 walk, which I love. But I think he just realized I don't have that big fastball. He's still 94, 95 with the 4-seamer, but he's throwing a 2-seamer a bit more and inducing some weak contact, staying off barrels with that, and it's definitely something that they could utilize a lot more.
Let's check out our PGW eye on the mound.
And having Walker Buehler in that rotation is only going to add them and let them rest up for October.
Well, let's listen in to Walker Buehler after his Phillies debut.
How did you think your first start went?
A little bit shaky there in the first in terms of giving up the run, but kind of settled in, and some really positive stuff in terms of what we've been working on, and being able to execute it kind of in some pressure situations. Obviously, the offense gave me a little bit of room there, kind of through the first few innings, and I'm pretty pleased with it, to be honest.
What specifically, if you could detail what you've been working on that you thought you implemented tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the delivery is the big thing, and kind of all the shapes and command and all that kind of comes out of the delivery, but kind of lost it there for a second and was able to get it back pretty quickly, which is a big step for me. And then I think just fastball strike percentage, fastball execution was pretty good for me. And I got a few pop-ups in the infield or foul or whatever, and I think for me when things are acting somewhat explosive or moving right or doing what they're supposed to do, I think you get that kind of swing. And so, it's a really talented team and actually a really tough team to punch out. And they put together really good at bats. So kind of an interesting game plan that you have to deal with against them. So all in all, pretty pleased with kind of how it went.
Along with the soft contact, you had more swing and miss stuff than you had in the last couple months with the Red Sox. Did you feel like you were missing a few more bats tonight than you had?
Yeah, I think it's a lot easier to get swing and miss when you throw stuff off of the heater, right? And so, most of the year and even last year, I struggled a lot with the fastball command. And, I've thrown one way my whole life since I was 10 years old. And the past 2 years, I think coming off of rehab, I just haven't thrown that way. And so if I can get my arm to the slot and the move the way I want and all this, kind of baseball mumbo jumbo stuff, the feels of everything kind of comes back and makes sense to my hand and my brain. And so, there's room for kind of an uptick, I think, hopefully, but to be able to execute and kind of make some pitches, I think is a great first step.
Getting released can be a humbling thing. I'm not sure.
The most, really, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe there was a time where you're wondering if I'm going to pitch again in the majors this year. So just to step on the mound tonight, be in a pennant race. I don't know. I mean, what was that like? Just getting a chance.
You know what? I kind of see it. I see what you're saying. For me, it's the opposite. It's the fact that I can have the years that I've had in the past 2 years and the understanding that I love pitching in the playoffs. I love pitching in races. And for me, that it's like such a good sign in terms of the game that it's not all analytics. It's not. There's some teams that still want to kind of grab the game by the horns and say, listen, this guy's been really good in the playoffs. Hopefully we can fix him. If it works, great. If it doesn't, and we gave him the minimum for 3 weeks, right? Like the fact that like certain organizations reached out when they did and how they did, I think gave me a lot of hope for kind of that the game is still played that way. And I came up in LA with Kirsch and talked to him a lot about how the game used to be, and that's part of it. And so for me, it's a cool thing that a team like this wanted me to be a part of it. And as I said, hopefully I can contribute in some way, and I think today was a good first step that way.
He's being more aggressive, being assertive in the batter's box, and taking advantage of some mistakes right now.
And you've seen that pay off for him and the rest of the guys, 6, 7, 8, 9. And Harrison Bader's usually in that 6, 7 spot, but now he's leading off. But the energy, it does kind of affect everybody. And you've heard the players talk about it as well.
Without a doubt. He brings something to the game, does Harrison Bader, that this ball club, I think, has been lacking for a couple of years. And this guy's in every play. I mean, he's just... He's energetic, yes, but I think his energy is contagious, and it's not fake. It's not just like, oh, look how energetic, like the little bunny running around the bases
right, exactly.
out there. So that he does it in the right way. He loves playing the game. You can see that he loves playing the game of baseball. But I think it's infectious what he's doing out there, and there's no question that when he got here, this team has gone in a different direction for the better. And I think they're feeding off of that. There's a lot of guys, and I said it before the game started, there's a lot of guys that are very stoic personalities in that clubhouse. And guys that are not very outgoing, not boisterous. But this guy, he does it on both. He's playing, and he's doing a tremendous job, and it's been fun to watch. But I think the other guys are feeding off it.
You know who's also fun to watch is Kyle Schwarber. He's always fun to watch. And he had a stat tonight that you mentioned. It was his 100th walk. He has done something that no Philly has ever done, and this is incredible. This is, per Elias, he's the first Philly since the RBI became an official stat in 1920 to do this. 100 walks, at least 100 runs, and at least 100 RBI in 3 straight seasons. 3 straight seasons, and of course, we still got 2.5 weeks to go.
It's incredible, and you look at that batting average in 2023, 197. Amy, do you know how hard it is to raise your batting average from 197 to 248 and 242 respectively? That is not easy to do because this guy, he takes his walks. If it's not there, he's got, he does have the advantage. He got one of the quickest bats in baseball, so he can let that, he can eyeball it all the way in. And if it's not exactly where he wants it, he has the ability to lay off it. But he trusts his eyeballs. He's got some good peepers. Why not? But these numbers, I mean, the Phillies have been around. It's not, they weren't they've been around for a couple years.
It's never been done in Phillies history since RBI became a statistic. So congratulations to Kyle. I'm sure that's something that he, doesn't really know about, but it's remarkable. It shows really where he's been at and what he means to this club. We were checking out Bryce Harper, who delivered in a big way, 2 for 4 with that home run as well. So pretty good choice by us for our stargazing. Let's look at the rest of the series. It is 2 more against the Royals. As we mentioned, the magic number to clinch the division is at 3. That's any combination of Phillies wins and Mets losses. And it is Taijuan Walker getting the start tomorrow, Ben. He would be the 6th straight starter. They got a 6-man rotation. They've all won. He needs to complete the sweep.
He's had a couple clunkers recently, gotten behind the 8 ball early with runs. See if he can limit that tomorrow. This isn't the best lineup that the Royals are throwing out there. Right. So we'll see how he attacks him. I think he could use that sinker a lot, the sinker split combination tomorrow to induce some weak contact and keep that pitch count down.
And maybe the bats can keep everything going as well.